Hi there, this is Lesley with Debunking Addiction for HealthyPlace.com. Today I want to talk to you about a very tragic topic, which is a news story that I just heard about, even though it happened in 2014. But here in my home state of Oregon, um, a young woman that I actually attended high school with um, died in custody in a Washington County, Oregon jail cell while she was detoxing from heroin. And my parents brought this story to my attention, and I looked into it, and it's been it's been sort of a mysterious case, shrouded in a lot of mystery as to the exact causes of death and what happened. But some things remain clear, and one of those things is that her death appears to have been preventable. So I'm talking about this story in conjunction with um, my desire to get people to recognize the need to treat drug addicts and alcoholics as people. We cannot afford to dismiss drug addicts and alcoholics as just drug addicts, just alcoholics, just a drunk, anything like that. That sort of thinking is what leads to death, quite frankly, and leads to people not getting help, not seeking treatment. In this particular case, the young woman whose name was Madaline Pitkin was arrested, and after a traffic stop, and she was arrested, I believe, for drug possession. But I don't know if she had a warrant out for her arrest or not. But at any rate, she was taken to the Washington County Jail and began abruptly going into heroin withdrawal. 7 days later, she died in custody despite repeated pleas for help. She even went through the written process to try to appeal for help, saying that she felt near death. And this whole story is covered extensively in the Oregonian by their reporter Rebecca Wollington, to whom I am grateful for bringing this to the public's attention and to my attention as well, because I hadn't heard about the story before. So there was a lot that went wrong in this case, and I think that there was a lot of lying going involved on the part of a lot of lying going on the part of the staff, the for-profit healthcare organization that was running the medical treatment in this facility, and there were a lot of things that need to be changed. But that being said, and a lot of those things need to be changed probably on a legislative and a systemic level. That being said, something that I think that we each can do and try to do for others in our lives and those around us is to take a stand against dismissing people who are affected by addiction as being less than, as being other, as being something that is not you. Because in fact, addiction does affect every single type of person on this planet. It's not something that picks only lower class, that picks only uneducated, that picks wealthy, that picks any race or sexual orientation. In fact, it is prevalent among all types of people. And I'm counting alcoholism as a form of addiction as well, because that's how I consider it. But I sometimes still say alcoholism because just to make sure that people know that I'm including alcohol as well. So I was affected by this sort of stigma when I was active in my addiction, and I know what it's like to be dismissed as just a drunk girl. But that being said, I'm someone who has a lot of layers of privilege to protect me, and so I really can only imagine what it would be like to be a member of a non-privileged class of people who also was struggling with these things. I know there are times when I was given breaks or given better care because of how I presented, and of course that's wrong. But we need, as a society, to change our opinions of drug addicts and to stop dismissing and dehumanizing and devaluing people based on their addiction struggle. For me, one of the times that this happened was after I was assaulted by a stranger, and I already was so full of guilt and shame from this whole situation back in 2006 that I didn't want to seek treatment. I didn't want to go to the hospital. all of the normal things that occur that you just want to forget about it. But it was actually a very kind police officer who convinced me eventually that I should go to the hospital. If that police officer had been different, if he had just said, well, this is your own fault because you were drunk, or acted that way, of course I never would have gone. I would have shut down completely. Once I was there at the hospital, there was a nurse who was particularly unhelpful and did act like it was my fault. She had better things to do and she didn't want to be there. And I did receive treatment when I was at the hospital that I am very thankful for today, but there were other things that I probably could have and should have done in retrospect. Maybe if I had had a more welcoming, supportive, humanizing environment, I would have done them. I don't know. But all I know is that it's an unhealthy society where drug addicts and alcoholics are dismissed, where people say no loss, where they say just another junkie, just another homeless bum, just another drunk. And I have decided that this case has inspired me to really start talking about these issues in my day-to-day life, because one person talking to another is one of the most efficient ways to affect change.